Russia's Middle East influence continues, as you can see on Mark13News.com. The Russian Federation being the current king of the North, according to the Daniel 11 hypothesis, with the United States being the current king of the South, being controlled for the most part by the two warring factions of Kenites using multipolar versus unipolar globalism. And it's at this time the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy continues to formulate, as you can see from articles like Russia formed a peacekeeping axis in Tehran and Putin forges ties with Iran's supreme leader. Turkey's Erdogan was also present at the meeting with Vladimir Putin in Iran, Turkey being most likely Gomer in Ezekiel 38, with Iran being Persia, headed by Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Meshech and Tubal being most likely Moscow and Tobolsk, and it's at the woe of the fifth trumpet that the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy will become the bear of Daniel chapter 7 when the so-called New World Order comes into being, when Satan and his angels get cast to earth. The fourth beast of Daniel chapter 7 being exclusively supernatural, and the United Nations is, in my opinion, the great horn of the he-goat written of in Daniel chapter 8 verse 8 that must first be broken before the 5-month-long hour of temptation can begin. So pay attention to articles like the waning relevance of the United Nations linked up on Mark13News.com for July 17th, 2022, because once the United Nations is broken, so to speak, it'll be replaced by the New World Order, as it's called, which is the one world system written of in Revelation chapter 13, having 7 heads, which are the 7 continents of the planet Earth, and 10 horns, which are symbolic of 10 fallen angel kings cast to earth with Satan. And notice in Daniel chapter 7, the 10 horns are part of Daniel's exclusively supernatural fourth beast, so there will be no New World Order until the woe of the fifth trumpet, and that's when the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8 becomes the leopard of Daniel chapter 7, which is symbolic of the Kenites and their 4 hidden dynasties of education, economics, politics, and religion, providing the infrastructure of the so-called New World Order, with the lion of Daniel chapter 7 being symbolic of the Christian nations up until the woe of the sixth trumpet, right after the deadly wound to the so-called New World Order, which is when Satan appears as the false Christ, and most Christians will at that time die spiritually when they worship Satan instead of Christ, which is what Antichrist means, causing the Christian nations to be plucked up by the roots, so to speak, becoming non-Christian nations also at that time. And then 2.5 months or 70 evenings later, which is what the 70 years in captivity to the Babylon of old were a type of, the true Christ will return as King of Kings and Lord of Lords at the woe of the seventh trumpet. And as the true Christ says in the last verse of Mark chapter 13, what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch.